Kishan drops the ball again behind the stumps.
And Andrew Jason would be better off allowing this ball. This is a wide ball. He should be playing at them. Can easily get an edge and either get caught behind or at slip.
Yeah, or whack it. There's Jadeja to Holder, drives up to mid-off where Siraj does the fielding and there's no run. There's Jadeja once more and Holder is defending. Yeah, I think Holder just really has to wait for the ball to hit here and just otherwise be very defensive-minded. This time he gets one off the inside edge into the leg side where Ashwin fields, but not before Holder can get through for a single to get off the mark. That's the end of the 34th over. Westindies are 82 for 5 here at Windsor Park.
Not a good over from Jadeja, and he bowled it over so quickly. He doesn't really give the ball on the other end, who's a simmer, time to really relax. It's over there, sometimes ball under 2 minutes, Andrew.
Yeah. Yeah, very fast, isn't he, Jadeja? Might get lucky, well, depending on which way you look at it, but I'm really looking forward to seeing how Jaiswal bats.
Myself too.
Well, I mean, coming into a game with a first-class average of 80, you know, it's not in a handful of games, it's 15. So, you know, what's that, a season and a bit's worth of cricket? It's only 21. Here's Holder facing a new over from Thakur. He's on the front foot. Just pushing that one away into the offside. There's no run.
I'm looking forward to seeing bat myself. I mean, you watch him in the IPL, he made many runs, but I want to see him in a test match in a 5-day atmosphere.
Some stats on some of the the young Indian batsmen. Their first-class records. Astonishing. There's Thakur to Holder. Forward once more and there's no run.
Well, in fact, I mentioned about Safraz this morning.
Yeah.
He's averaging almost 100, and he cannot get into the Indian team. A batsman in first-class cricket averaging almost 100 or past 100 this season in India.
Astonishing, really, isn't it? But it also says a lot about the mentality of the batsmen. You know, they just want to score a lot of runs. Here's Thakur, this time Holder's looking to cut that one but doesn't time it at all, it just dribbles out onto the offside. Picked up there by Unadkat and there's no run. Very, very quiet here after lunch, Sebo.
Yes, it is. The crowd are very, very quiet. They probably have been disappointed with the score at the moment.
Here's Thakur. Bowling now to Holder. Just shoulders arms to that one. Lets it go through the keeper and there's no run.
I'm sure they would have rather Westindies were what? 80 for 1 or 2 instead. They would have felt better.
And the other thing too about it is I don't, you know, if you're looking at this, having just woken up or something in New Zealand or Australia and see the West Indies scorecard, you think, oh wow, the pitch must have been doing plenty, but the pitch hasn't been doing anything.
Very slow pitch. I mean, batsmen have got themselves out.
Here's Thakur once more. It was a short ball and so short that it actually got over the head of Jason Holder, who must be about 6'6" or something like that, maybe more, 6'8", and there's no run.
There have been no devil in the pitch, Andrew. The pitch has played slowly. The ball is not spinning much. The batsmen, some of them, 2 or 3 of them have just given away the wickets.
Right, last ball of the 35th over. his tackle, and Holder is defending once more into the offside. So that's the end of another over now. Tackle's finished 7 so far today. He has 1 for 15. And the score here at Sabina Park. The score here at Windsor Park is 82 for 5.
Have you been to Sabina Park? Have you ever been there?
I have actually.
Oh, you have? Okay.
Last year in August.
Okay.
Actually,
what, for the CPL?
No, for the New Zealand One Days.
Oh, okay.
I've got a story for you though.
Yeah. Give it to me because the next...
I was on commentary, so I was sitting where you're sitting right now, and Glenn Phillips came into bat.
Yeah.
And just as I left the commentary, so like the next ball, he hit a ball into the stand and smashed the window right where I'd been sitting. It's a long hit too.
Glenn Phillips. Hits the ball hard, very hard, eh?
Very hard.
Yeah.
Here's Jadeja once more. And that strikes Athenaeus on the pad. There's a loud appeal. But umpire Kettleborough is unmoved.
Maybe outside the off stump. Maybe struck him outside the off stump, playing forward.
Rohit just gesturing there that maybe he hit it as well. Anyway, they're not going to review that one. But yeah, Glenn Phillips smashed the window right next to me. Here's Jadeja once more, rolling to Athenaeus. He's defending. Just looking at that replay, that appeal just before, may well have just grazed the inside edge of his bat, Athenaeus. But it was also turning, so I think they might have missed the stumps anyway. Here's Athenaeus, facing up to Jadeja, drives it up to mid-off, and there's no run. Yeah, so the ball was in line, but it actually spun, and actually it was going to, well, it was umpire's call on the wicket, so that's why it was given not out. Here's Athenaeus back on the crease this time to Jadeja, and that's the opportunity to introduce Vimal Kumar, of course, from India, who's with us to provide his perspective on the Indian side and the performance today. As Jadeja bowls another one there to Afanze, and there's no run. So just one ball left in this over, and then we'll come to Vimal. So that's end of the over. It's a maiden bowled by Jadeja, and the Westindies here 82 for 5. And
the Grenville Cooperative Credit Union, the credit union of Grenville, takes you where you want to be. Feel secure with the Credit Union of Grenville, taking care of all your financial needs, including savings, loans, mortgages, and sound financial advice. Serving you with branches on Jubilee Street in Grenville, Lucas Street in St. George's, and coming soon, our Grandand sub-office. Call us on 442-8602 or visit one of our offices. With Grenville Cooperative Credit Union, your financial security is guaranteed.
This is Real 91.9, 91.5, www.therealfmgrenada.com. Live cricket comes to you with the compliments of the Grenville Cooperative Credit Union and the New National Party. This is Real FM Radio. We return you to Windsor Park inside of Dominica. Thanks for the correction.
This time Holder's driving up to mid-on there, or mid-off I should say, where Jadeja does the fielding, and there's no run once more. So there's a big gap on the offside here. There's a point and a mid-off, so Holder is eyeing up the spot. And on this occasion he drives to mid-wicket, forces him to the leg side to mid-wicket, and there's no run as he finds Rohit Sharma. But yes, India leaving a very enticing gap here for Jason Holder in the offside. this time he just plays it up to long on. Very interesting tactic. India's got a long on and a deep backward square to a guy who's just come in. Is that a usual tactic when Ashwin's bowling?
No, I think they just want to try to surprise, because you see, Rohit Sharma is a captain. He is very highly respected, highly rated, because as you must be aware, the listeners must be aware, he has got the IPL trophy most number of times. There was one stage until this year, he had won more IPL trophy than Mahendra Singh Dhoni, great Mahendra Singh Dhoni, and because of exceptional leadership skills, yeah.
Here's Ashwin bowling to Athanaze this time. Shubman Gill dives to try and cut it off. He gets a hand on it, but it dribbles away from him, which gives Athanaze a chance to go through for a single that takes him on to 24. And Westindies 84 for 5. Ashwin, last ball of the over, getting very close to the stumps, and Holder plays a very aggressive shot there, out into the deep. Shubman Gill coming round, and he restricts the scoring to 2. So Holder giving the long handle there to Ashwin, showing how he thinks he might play him. Anyway, that's the end of 36 overs. It's 86 for 5 here at Windsor Park.
Are you surprised the way West Indies top order has batted, or like India has been too good despite losing the toss on this wicket?
Yes, I have been surprised at the way the West Indies have batted, absolutely. I think that, aside from Chanderpaul who got bowled, I think all 3 of the other wickets, well actually all 4 of the other wickets, the batsmen all got themselves out. Brathwaite skied one to Rohit, Reefer chased a wide one off Thakur, Blackwood played an awful shot right before lunch to get caught, and then De Silva just played a very ordinary shot to get out caught off Jadeja, who's just started his new over bowling to Athanaze, and there's no run. So yeah, I don't think India bowled particularly well at all. Not that they bowled badly, but yeah, the West Indies just lacked a lot of discipline, I felt. You take Reefer's dismissal, for example. He's on 2, chases a wide one and gets caught. Here's Jadeja bowling round the wicket to Athanaze. He's just defending that one back to Jadeja, and there's no run. Actually, the only guy who's batted sensibly is the debutant, Athanaze. He's looked excellent. He hasn't hit the ball in the air. He's been very good. He defends that one there.
Understands the importance of this game. How much hard work he must have put in to reach this stage.
Yeah, exactly. And it means a lot to him, of course, playing on his home ground in his Test debut. Not a lot of West Indians would get to do that, probably, as he works that one away into the leg side. And Holder scampers through as the ball is returned and hits the stumps, and umpire Goff has called for a second opinion from the TV umpire Maria Rasmus. Maybe that was closer than I thought at first glance. Kohli there doing some great work in the outfield at cover, gathering the ball, firing it in. Oh, this could be out. Oh no, Ishan Kishan had to gather it first. Sorry, I thought that was a direct hit. So Holder comfortably home there. I tell you who has looked nervous today is Ishan Kishan. He's really struggling to glove the ball.
And this is understandable, because he must be, it's a dream come true for him, because for the last so many years he has been waiting to get a Test cap.
Here's the last ball of the over from Jadeja, and it's driven up to Rohit at cover by Holder. There's no run. That's it for me for a while. From me for a while. Andy Carter will be coming in to join you, Vimal.
Yeah.
And the score after 86 overs is after 38 overs is 87 for 5 here at Windsor Park.
But for your listener, I'm just completing the story. I may continue?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was saying Ishan Kishan comes from the same place where Mahendra Singh Dhoni used to come. So from the very beginning, he has been compared with the incomparable Dhoni. everyone from the state, India, everyone sees him as the next MS Dhoni. And it's not easy to fill in those huge shoes. But yeah, over the last 4 test matches, KS Bharat, who played against all the 4 matches in Australia and didn't do much with bat, and Kishan is being seen as the game changer in the same mood of Rishabh Pant. Incidentally, both are very good friends. So let's hope he improves as the game goes on. Welcome back again, Mike.
Thank you very much. Ashwin continues from the Botanic Gardens end, and slight mix up there. Afana's playing it there to Unat Kat at short backward square. Was setting off for a run and wisely sent back there by Jason Holder. So the Westindies, they won the toss this morning and went to lunch at 68 for 4. Since then, they have lost Joshua De Silva, and the score is now 87 for the loss of 5. So the batsmen out so far, Shandapal for 12, when the score was on 31, 2 for 38 when Brathwaite went for 20. Rifa went with the score on 47 for 2 runs. Here is Ashwin, bows to Afanaz. Afanaz is going right back and playing it along the track to the bowler. Then we had Blackwood caught, brilliantly caught by Siraj of Jadeja for 14. The score was 68 for 4, and Blackwood getting out on the stroke of lunch. Here is Ashwin from around the wicket, and Afanaz stretches forward. He's batted quite well so far. He's on 25, has played every ball to its merit, and the crowd has built up somewhat, anticipating a good one, a big one from Afanaz as he drives, finds the man at cover, and he can score. So the over comes to an end for number 39, the Westindies, 87 for the loss of 5, and that's the latest score here at Windsor Park.
I must tell you something, a lot of Indian viewers are watching this. While they are quite fascinated by commentary, a lot of comments is coming. But the crowd is quite less, because I must tell you, Indian cricket team probably playing the smallest crowd for a test center, because so many people you will see whenever if just one Indian player in their school or backyard, there will be more people watching. Like if Virat Kohli plays a game in Delhi or Mumbai, there will be entire Dominican population, 70,000, more than 70,000 people will be watching.
Yes, you can see the crowds in the IPL, and certainly even in the domestic cricket with the youngsters playing, they turn out. So the support in India is huge indeed. As we see, Jadeja begins his 8th over. He has already taken 2 wickets so far. Taken the wicket after lunch of De Silva, whom he had caught by wicketkeeper Kishan for 2. It was then 76 for 5. They have moved on, the Westindies, to 87 for 5. Ball striking Holder, and certainly would see that leg stretched outside the off stump, certainly hitting him outside of the line of off stump as he was trying to paddle the ball down on the leg side, maybe trying to get past the short backward square. There's a huge gap going down to fine leg, and Holder trying to see if he could get some runs in that direction. A delivery there from Jadeja, comes forward, strokes it there to Captain Rohit Sharma, who is at extra cover. Jadeja bows to Holder. Holder goes back, cuts, finds the man there at backward point, fields well, and again he can score. So Shubman Gill, the man patrolling the squarish cover, just slightly backward, gets a quicker delivery, lower trajectory from Jadeja. Holder comes forward and plays in front of him. So not the position the Westindies would have liked to be after having won the toss, and going to lunch at 68 for 4. Now some repair work has to be done by Jason Holder and Alec Afanaz as Jadeja completes his over, his 8th over. He has 2 for 13 And after 40 overs, the West Indies 87 for the loss of 5. That's the latest score here at Windsor Park.
I think if you look at, despite India losing the toss, and West Indies has not been able to capitalize on winning a good toss on a good wicket, which looks a good wicket, and it is not surprising because India has a great pair of Ashwin and Jadeja. They have won test matches all over the world. So for this kind of attack, where even if India is thin on experience, especially in fast bowling department, the spinners, the experienced spinners, do more than enough to make up for the lack of experience, because these two gentlemen have played nearly, Ashwin is nearing 100 test matches, so is Jadeja.
Here is Ashwin from around the wicket, draws Afanas forward once again, correctly so, and the bowler fears to his own bowling. And even in Shadul Thakur, he has already taken a 7-wicket haul, and certainly 7 for 61, his best bowling figures, Thakur. So there is Afanas hitting this one and hitting it, and wait for the signal down towards the backward square leg boundary. 4 runs is the signal there by umpire Goff. So getting into his wicket, a delivery just slightly short of a length, and quickly swiveling and hoisting it down to the boundary, the square leg boundary, and another boundary there for Afanas. Lovely shot. The crowd
Is enjoying because there's something to cheer about.
Yes, indeed, the local boy getting things done comes forward. Ashwin right on target once more. He doesn't give away much. When you hit him for a boundary or 2, he always comes back. He's a thinking bowler, a lot of guile. He comes from around the wicket, right arm off spinner, and Afanas meets him with the full face of the bat and pushes it there to Virat Kohli, who is at short cover. 91 for the loss of 5, the West Indies. The post-lunch period, as Afanas comes forward, young left-handed batsman pushes it there, and once again Kohli does the fielding, and there is no run. So there's one slip in Rahane, the vice captain. Yunat Kat is at a short backward square. Mohammad Siraj at the backward point as the delivery is met with the full face of the bat. Much to the delight of the crowd, they show their appreciation for the knock by Afanas so far. And at the end of over 41, West Indies 91 for the loss of 5. Afanas is on 29, Holder is on 4, and that's the latest score here at Windsor Park.
The Gynecological Cancer and Prevention Clinic advises the general public that its office, located in Main Street, Satires, will be open on Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. The oncologist, Dr. Santos, now attends every Thursday by appointments only. The ophthalmologist, or eye doctor, attends every 15th of the month. Call us to book an appointment today on 423-3352 or 444-4272.
It is real. 91.9, 91.5, www.DULFMgrenada.com. 91 for 5 after batting for some 41 overs. The West Indies in the first innings of the first test against India. Game being played at Windsor Park inside of Dominica, the nature isle of the Caribbean. Stay with us, friends. We rejoin our cricket commentators.
You guys must be finding me for an Indian, when I come and watch cricket or cover, it's entirely different ball game. Same for you guys?
Here is a delivery there, driving his order, hits the man there at the mid-off, and there is no run. But you were saying that...
I'm saying that it's like we are fascinated by the Caribbean culture. Same with...
Well, at one time there was that kind of a passion in the West Indies when the West Indies, they were on top of the world in the late 70s, 80s, and when Clive Lloyd and Vivian Richards and these sort of players ruled with Ambrose and Walsh, it was a complete different picture. They would turn out in large numbers, but with the decline of the cricket so far in the West Indies, it really has had the crowd staying away from the game. So there's something has to be done to inject that kind of enthusiasm once again in the crowd.
But isn't that paradoxical, as a lot of commentators, local commentators are talking about the decline of West Indies cricket? But if you look at West Indians are in demand, huge demand in T20 cricket. They have some fine players who are, playing different leagues all around the world, high demand, earning a lot of money. But when it comes to the national team, West Indies have not been able to put a decent 11, whether it's a ODI or Test cricket. Why is that so? This is quite a complex subject for a lot of listeners, viewers around the world.
Jadeja Bose, the final delivery to Holder. We'll get back to that as the West Indies now 91 for 5, and that's the latest score here at Windsor Park. Now the players, Hetmeyer, Puran, they go out there, they make lots of money, but they do not really want to play Test cricket. Because if you can go to Bangladesh Super League, Pakistan Super League, the Big Bash in Australia, IPL, and even in that last IPL, their performances still was short. You find a person like Russell wasn't up to standard. We'll come back to that as Ashwin begins his 14th over. He has already taken 2 for 33.
But you can't just blame the young West Indian player to look out for opportunity in white ball format, especially in T20, because that is happening across the world. You look at New Zealand, even England.
Gets a delivery there. Afanas plays it there to the man at backward point. Feels well, Thakur, and there is no run. But you can see people like Kohli, they play T20 cricket, but their standard is that high that they can play all the formats. They playing 4 overs aside, you bowl 4 overs, certainly doesn't assist a fast bowler for sure. You only bowl 4 overs in Test cricket. You've got to bowl a 8 over spell, come back, and in the end you might bowl 20, 21 overs.
But I must tell you, I don't know how many listeners are aware of the fact, because you get a different perception. I will just continue with that.
Gets a delivery which bounces and turns past the left-handed batsman Afanas. He does well to let it go, and it goes through to the wicket keeper. Let's watch the bounce on this occasion. Bounce and turn there from Ashwin.
Definitely, he has been a terrific bowler. Unfortunately, Indian cricket hasn't given him the kind of respect he deserves.
Ashwin, and again spinning the ball away from the left-handed batsman, and Afanas really not prodding at it. Another good delivery there from Ashwin. He seems to have got a line just outside the off stump, leaving the left-handed batsman. But so far, Afanas has responded quite well. Ashwin from around the wicket draws him forward this time, more on the line of the center stump. Afanas plays it well. The over comes to an end. At the end of the over, Afanas is on 29, Holder is on 4, and the West Indies 91 for the loss of 5, and that's the latest score here at Windsor Park.
Yeah, let me tell you, just before Jadeja starts his over, that a lot of people think, Test cricket, there is a huge passion for Test cricket in India, although it's partially true. Like the likes of Virat Kohli is very passionate, and Ashwin, or some of the players who play just only one. But the coming generation, like all over the world, they too are more interested in IPL contract. No one wants to slog it out for 5 days, play the red ball game, even in first class cricket. So the things have been changing in Indian cricket as well.
Well, let's go back to after this delivery, drive in straight to Kohli there at short extra cover, and again he can score. So Holder is kept on 4. He has faced 32 deliveries so far. Gets a delivery which covers up, guides it down to a third man, and will get a run. But before there was hardly a fast bowler in India. And now there's a birth of fast bowlers. You have Ishan cannot make the side, Umesh Yadav still cannot come in, and there are many fast bowlers who would maybe walk in on a West Indies side presently.
While that may be true from your eyes, but from Indian point of view, there is a different side to it. Because when Bharat Arun was the head coach, bowling coach, I will continue with that.
Here is Afanaz sweeping and sweeping, a slog sweep, and it goes down to the boundary, getting that leg down and sweeping it, and he's sweeping it over the man there at backward square, and into the boundary it goes, and the crowd warms to the shot there played by Alec Afanaz. Watch it again, it goes down on one knee and hoists it over the infield, the man there at short backward square, and it goes into the boundary. Not afraid to play shots, Afanaz. He moves on to 33. And we'll beat coolly there at short mid-wicket, and we'll get another run. And Afanaz moving on merrily. He's on 34. The West Indies inch closer to the century. 97 for 5. They scored their 50 of 20 overs and 5 balls. Here is a big shot by Woda. The ball bounces and 3 bounces and goes into the boundary. High over the bowler's head. Good solid shot there played by Woda, and certainly freeing up his arms on this occasion.
Great shot indeed, and you need, from West Indian point of view, you need somebody to play those shots just to put pressure back on someone like Ravindra Jadeja, because he's a very miserly, he can quickly put pressure by conceding too few runs. That has been his strength in Indian wickets.
Jadeja to Oda. Oda is driving pleasantly to the right of the man at squarish cover. Does well to prevent the ball going past him, and they will get 1. The over comes to an end. Over number 44 is complete. The West Indies 102 for the loss of 5, and that's the latest score here at Windsor Park.
Immerse yourself in colors that come alive. Color by Sissons. Let your imagination run wild. Surround yourself in a world of color. Color by Sissons. Endless inspiration. Bold expression. Bold expression. Color by Sissons. Sissons. Express your style with Color by Sissons.
Although he hasn't retired, I believe he's doing commentary back home for this series first time. But since that, India has been struggling in fast bowling department because Bumrah is injured, Siraj has just come up.
Shami and Siraj, they make a wonderful pair of fast bowlers, and ably supported by Thakuru, who always seems to get among the wickets. But we're watching Ashwin from the Botanic Gardens end, bowling to Hoda. Hoda is coming forward, plays it. The wicketkeeper darts from behind the stumps, and we'll send the ball back to Ashwin. So the 50 for the West Indies came off 20 overs and 5 balls. The 100 came off 43 overs and 5 balls. So they went to lunch the West Indies at 68 for 4, and they've moved on to 102 for the loss of 5 as Ashwin bowls. And the ball goes there to short leg, and there is no run. So Ashwin so far has bowled 14 overs and 3 balls. He has picked up 2 for 33. He started the slide for the West Indies as Ashwin bowls to Hoda. Hoda was trying a paddle, seemed to be in 2 minds. In the end, he got bat onto it. He's there rehearsing the shot, and he gets a single. But certainly a shot he would want not to repeat because it wasn't looking too gamely. But he got a run, and the score has moved on to 103 for 5. Here is Ashwin. Bowls to Afanaz, gets the ball to turn and bounce on this occasion. Ashwin has picked up a line just outside the off stump of Afanaz, and so getting the ball to bite and turn. And if this game goes on long in the second innings, Ashwin will be a handful to contend with. He's got that spot just outside the off stump, turning away, and we can see that Rahani there at slip, vice captain, gets one right on the off stump. This time Afanaz handles it well. The over comes to an end. At the end of the over, the Westindies 103 for the loss of 5. Afanaz is 34. Jason Holder is 11. And that's the latest score here at Windsor Park.
A lot of people in India are wondering how much good this will do to West Indian cricket if they manage to pull a surprise, if they manage to win the series. Singularity, one of my regular listeners, has asked this question to you.
Well, that would be a huge feather in the cap for West Indies. But it's some way still to go. We're just on the first day of the Cycle Pure Agapafi Test Series. There's one more test to be played at the Queen's Park Oval in Trinidad. This test is the 99th test played in the West Indies, and the 100th test will be played at the Queen's Park Oval. So big things. The West Indians are looking forward to big things, as we're about to see the introduction, the reintroduction of Mohammad Siraj, who had 8 overs, 2 maidens, none for 17. He had a spell from the southern end, he had a spell from the northern end, and now he has returned on the media center end, the northern end, also called the river end, because there's a beautiful Roseau River just behind the commentary booth. Here is Siraj. Huda is driving, beats the man there at extra cover. They run one, they come back for a second, and that's all they will be. As the captain, Rohit Sharma, gives chase, but that was a lovely looking drive there by Jason Holder.
Holder seems to be trying slightly differently. He's trying to, bat slightly attacking cricket, and he knows a lot of these Indian bowlers, having played a lot of IPL matches, especially the net practice with some of these top bowlers.
So we see a less attacking field. There are 2 slips as Siraj bows now to Holder. Holder covers up, looking solid in defense, pushes it square on the offside, and they can score. So just to run back, the West Indies, they won the toss. They lost their first wicket on 31 when Chandapal was bowled by Ashwin for 12. He faced 44 deliveries. They lost their captain, Craig Brathwaite, when the score was on 38, caught by Rohit Sharma of Ashwin for 20. He struck 3 fours in that 20, faced 46 deliveries. Rifa went caught by the wicketkeeper Kishan of Thakur for 2. He faced 18 balls, it was 3 for 47, and they lost their 4th wicket on the stroke of lunch when Blackwood played an awful shot, and he was brilliantly caught. What a catch that Siraj took there at mid-off of the bowling of Jadeja. So the West Indies, they went to lunch at 68 for 4. Since then, they have moved on to 105. They have lost the silver, caught at the wicket of the bowling of Jadeja for 2. He faced 13 deliveries, and he was out when the score was on 76. So Siraj looks around, sees there are 2 slips, squarish cover, extra cover, Captain Sharma there at mid-off, Unat Cards at mid-on, as it covers up Holder, and in defense, solid in defense. So far he has looked good, and they have added 24 and 5, 29 runs, Holder and Afanaz, and for the West Indies' sake, they need to carry on as long as possible.
I think, and see, everyone wants to win the game, and Indian supporter must be hoping that. But what they want is that there should be a good contest between bat and ball, especially over the last few years. West Indies has been good in Test cricket at least. They have defeated England twice, so that is not an easy task. So let's hope so that this series lived up to expectations.
Yes, we'd really love to have a very good series. India, very competitive side, as Siraj bows another delivery, and Huda plays on the offside and he can score. So it's really our hope. I mean, I'm speaking for all Caribbean people, that the West Indies will put up a strong fight, because it's a solid Indian team, and we always want to do well against India, Australia, England. For sure, these are the big names in cricket, and indeed not forgetting Andrew McLean's side, New Zealand. A very good side, and we really, as West Indians, would like to see the West Indies doing well. As Huda plays there, straight to Rahane at short mid-wicket, the over comes to an end. At the end of over number 46, the West Indies 105 for the loss of 5. It's going to be a drinks break. Huda is on 13, Afanas is on 34, and that's the latest score here at Windsor Park. And after the drinks break, we will have Andrew McLean to come back to do the commentary.
Gittins Home and Garden Center, your main pillar for agricultural supplies in Grenada. We supply fertilizers, herbicides, seedlings and nursery supplies, diesel water pumps, walk behind tillers, organic and environmentally friendly agricultural inputs. We're serving you from 2 locations at Birch Grove and booth 34 at the Vendors Market in Grenville. Cost-effective agricultural solutions for all your needs. Visit Gittins Home and Garden Center for the best in everything agriculture. Call us on 409-2175 or 438-4337. Gittins Home and Garden Center, from your farm to your backyard.
The Grenville Cooperative Credit Union, the credit union of Grenville, takes you where you want to be. Feel secure with the Credit Union of Grenville, taking care of all your financial needs, including savings, loans, mortgages, and sound financial advice. Serving you with branches on Julie Street in Grenville, Lucas Street in St. George's, and coming soon, our Grandand sub-office. Call us on 442-8602 or visit one of our offices. With Grenville Cooperative Credit Union, your financial security is guaranteed.
It is said, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. Therefore, the authenticity of the beverage can only be acquired in the taste. A taste which is original to Antoine de Beauregard Industries and comes from a combination of spices and local rum, which can hold its own all over the world. Woodman, a strength which speaks for itself. A taste which stands out from the rest, bottled with care, which speaks to perfection. Try Woodman today and be stunned by a flavor as never before. Let your palate savor that which is produced locally. Do not be deterred by substandard products. Our taste speaks volumes and sets us apart from the competition. You will be satisfied with every sip of our product. Say rum, say Woodman, feel satisfaction. Now that's quality.
2017 was the last test match here, and my absolute pleasure to invite a man of vast experience on the cricket field, a knight of the realm. Good afternoon, Sir Curtly Ambrose.
Good afternoon.
Very kind of you to come and give us some time to entertain the listeners on the Cut and Drive network, Sir Curtly.
Well, don't worry. It's not a problem, but I will charge you guys. I'll tell you early. I'll send my invoice.
You can make the bill out to Andrew Mason.
I certainly will. I charge him double. No, it's a lovely day here in Dominica. The last 2 days was raining, so we're happy that the rain has stayed away so far. And we get some cricket in.
Did you play much in Dominica?
Never played it. Never played here.
Really?
Never played here, not even first class cricket.
Really?
Never played here, no.
So is it? Have you been here before? or
Yeah, I've been here a few times, yes.
Just
for commentary.
commentary.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
But playing, no.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
You had a pretty long career as well, you know.
Yeah, well,
Right. Well, back live in the middle now. It's going to be Ashwin to continue around the wicket to Athenaeus and defends up to mid off, and there's no run. So very important period of play here for the Westindies after a pretty bad first 3 hours of the match. Here's Athenaeus driving once more to mid off. The man's quite deep there, so they have time to get through for a single. There's Siraj is a little bit too deep there, so Athenaeus moves on to 35. What do you make of the wicket so far, Sir Kirtley?
I don't like it that much, to be honest. I think that it needs to get some grass on it. I find that has been a problem in the Caribbean, that as soon as they mention cricket, they shave all the grass off the surface. And that to me is not all that good.
Here's Ashwin once again, this time bowling to Holder. And once again, Ishan Kishan can't glove it cleanly. He's really been struggling today with the gloves. Probably first test nerves perhaps, but sooner or later there might be an edge, and he probably needs to be catching a little bit better. Just the ball's going through as the next one is defended by Holder. So why would that be that they shave the grass off the wickets?
I don't know for sure, but
here's Ashwin again, over the wicket to Holder, and he's defending.
I reckon they believe, the groundsmen believe that if you leave too much grass in the pitch, it may favour the bowlers too much, or the game might finish a bit early. There are many different reasons.
Here's Ashwin, last ball of the 47th over to Holder. He works that one out up to deep mid-on, gets through for a single. And that is the end of the 47th over. It's 107 for 5 here at Windsor Park. Yeah, so those reasons that you mentioned, yeah, I guess the downside to that is that you have a wicket that it really hasn't offered much at all, has it? And it's also turning. That's the other thing.
Yes.
Ashwin's getting turned.
I mean, we see spin introduced as early as the 9th or 10th over, which is unusual in Test match cricket on a first day, which tells you the nature of the surface. Now, what I think, and I've been saying this for many years, the groundsmen in the region needs to prepare better cricket pitches, where it's a bit of an even contest between bat and ball. If you can bat well enough and you get stuck in, you can score runs, and if you bowl well enough, you can get some wickets. But when you prepare these low, slow surfaces, it's difficult for stroke play.
Yes.
And then, when we go overseas and we get a surface with a bit of grass, a bit of bounce and movements, we struggle. So there are too many things going wrong in the Caribbean in terms of the surfaces we play on.
Here's Siraj bowling a new over to Holder. He defends that into the offside and there's no run. But just as a comparison to your time when you were playing, is there a considerable difference in the wickets?
When I started first, the wickets were much better. Good contest between bat and ball. Not overly quick, where you favour the fast bowlers too much, but there's always something to keep the batsmen honest. And then you can score runs as well. And then after a couple of years, it started to deteriorate. It got lower and slower, and right now they're terrible. Quite frankly, the only pitch in the Caribbean that you can say is a good cricket surface is in St. Lucia.
Right, okay. Here's Siraj once more, and it's just defended by Holder, and there's no run. So what, in Groselay?
That's correct, yes. It's been the best for a few years. Nice and hard and bouncy, good for batting, good for bowling.
So I guess there's no surprise for you then that the West Indies decided to bring Raheem Cornwall and John Warwick into the side.
No surprises really. Looking at the surface, it may favour the spinners later on, but it's starting to show.
Here's Siraj once more to Holder. He works that one away behind square. But the man coming around there is Thakur. He picks that up and restricts the scoring to 1. It's quite interesting those two guys haven't played since Sri Lanka in 2001. And they're getting recalled just now. Is that a reflection on the fact that they either lost form or the West Indies haven't had pitches to suit? It just seems quite a long time to be out of the side.
Well, in terms of Cornwall, he had a bit of a knee issue not so long ago. So I reckon they wanted to give him enough time to recover properly. Because he does bowl a lot of overs when he plays. Some argue about his size and he shouldn't be playing.
Here's Siraj bowling to Athanaze this time, and it's a short ball, but he's well and truly out of the way, and there's no run.
But in terms of Cornwall, it was never about performances. He's always performed well in regional cricket, international cricket, so it's never performances. Some argue about his size.
Yes.
And then, like I said, he had a little bit of a knee issue for a little bit. So I reckon he's over all of that now, and he's back. Warwickland lost form, wasn't bowling all that well, so he lost his place. Now he's back.
There's Siraj over the wicket to the left-handed Athanaze. He just lets that one go through the keeper, and there's no run. But is it also a reflection that perhaps the West Indies are just struggling to find top quality spinners at the moment, that you're not getting someone that's consistently having a run on the side?
Well, as far as I can remember, since the retirement of the great Lance Gibbs back in the mid-70s, we have tried many different spinners up until this present moment.
Here's Siraj once more, and Athanaze is defending that ball up to row it at mid-wicket, or wide mid-on, I guess you'd call that, and that is the end of the over. Athanaze is 35, Holder is 15, West Indies 108 for 5 here at Windsor Park.
Gynecological Cancer and Prevention Clinic advises the general public that its office located in Main Street, Satires, will be opened on Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. The oncologist, Dr. Santos, now attends every Thursday by appointments only. The ophthalmologist, or eye doctor, attends every 15th of the month. Call us to book an appointment today on 423-3352 or 444-4272.
A problem really, and most of these spinners will dominate regional competition. Lots of wickets, and then they get them in the test setup, and then they struggle. So that has been the norm.
Here's Ashwin beginning a new over to Holder, just defending, and there's no run. Now, I read somewhere yesterday that Cornwall has been taking 40 wickets a season pretty much all the time.
That's exactly my point I was making earlier. He's kept taking wickets, doing extremely well in regional cricket. And he's done reasonably well in international cricket in test matches as well.
Here's Ashwin rolling to Holder. He's prodding forward. Kishan whips the bails off, but I don't think Holder would move from the crease, and there's no run. No referral. What's been your impression so far about young Athanaze?
Well, I've seen him before, so I know that he has got the ability to score runs. He's a very attractive player.
Here's Ashwin to Holder, and he's defending once more.
So I was just wanting to see him step up to international cricket, because like I said, regional cricket is different, A-team cricket is a little bit different. International cricket is a huge step up, and so far he's looking really composed, he's looking solid.
Here's Ashwin bowling to Holder, and he's back. That one turning into him. Caught him by surprise, but he managed to defend it without pushing it to the man at short leg, and there's no run. Let's look at the replay here. This turned quite sharply. Yeah, it did. Actually, I saw one earlier, Sir Kirtley, hit one of the foot marks already. It's just spinning. So here's Ashwin. And Holder's driving off the back foot, pushing it deep out into the covers. There's a big long chase out there for Rohit. He gets the ball inside the boundary, but they come back for 3 runs. So well played there by Jason Holder. Nice, elegant shot through the offside. That takes them on to 18. And Westindies on to 111 for 5. I've got a few more questions for you, Sir Kirtley, but we've got 1 ball left in the over. We can catch it after that. So the sun's shining over Windsor Park, which has come as a relief to all of us after the rain of the last 2 days. It literally didn't stop raining at all yesterday, right throughout the day. And so for those people here on holiday for the hiking and the diving and the beaches, it's a beautiful day, as it is out in the middle. And this time it's Athenaeus lofting Ashwin over long on, wide long on, all the way for 6. What an absolutely beautiful shot that was. And don't the crowd love it. So Athenaeus moves on to 41, and the score here now is 117 for 5 at Windsor Park.
He's a local lad, so they're certainly enjoying his innings so far. That's his first 6 in Test match cricket. But they've shown composure. He's not overawed by the occasion. And he's that kind of player, very calm, very collected. You know, so and he's playing really well. Wickets kept falling around him, but that hasn't fazed him at all. And he's really building it to getting a good total here for himself and his team.
Well, I'll be honest with you, Sir Kirtley. I'd never heard of him until I read the team that was going to play yesterday, and I started doing a bit of research on him. Found out he was from Dominica, but I'd have to say of all the batsmen that have been out there today, he has comfortably looked the best. You know, he's playing the ball along the ground, he's timing it well. That's probably that was obviously a very aggressive shot there, but he's looked really, really good. Very elegant.
Very elegant player. And I mean, if you don't know his own debut, you probably would have thought that he's been playing for Test match cricket for a long time.
Here's Siraj beginning a new over, bowling to Holder. He's defensively forward. That long reach that he has, Holder, former West Indian captain, of course, and there's no run. Yeah, I read somewhere also that people are starting to compare him to Brian Lara already, but that first pull shot he played reminded me of exactly of the great Brian Lara.
And that is something that one should never do.
No, of course.
I mean, the guy he's on debut, for Christ's sake. Let the guy, get grounded, get a taste of international cricket, hopefully get a long career, get some runs on his belt. But to be comparing him with Brian Lara at this stage, to me, is ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, I forget who mentioned it, but I did read it somewhere, and but he's definitely got the shots, that's for sure. Here's Siraj once more, bowling to Holder, and he's defending once more. So Holder's been there for quite a long time already, 59 balls for his 18, so doing a very good job for his captain here, resurrecting the innings somewhat with young Athenaeus, and giving the fans something to cheer about on what otherwise has been not the greatest of days for West Indies cricket, not the greatest morning with some of the shots. Losing 4 wickets before lunch is definitely not what they would have wanted after winning the toss. Here's Siraj. This time it's a bouncer. It must have been very close to being a wide. It was well over Holder's head, and there's no run. Well, what did you make of that shot by Jermaine Blackwood just before lunch?
Well, what I really want to say is not good for airplay. So I'll keep it nice and easy and just say it was a terrible shot, really. But I could add some words to it, but we won't go there. Just on the stroke of lunch as well. So I couldn't quite understand that. It was a brilliant catch.
Here's Siraj. And Holder this time's hooking it down towards fine leg, but it's caught. Caught it deep, deep backward square actually. Taken out there by Takor. So Holder falls, having just said he was looking so sound. He played the short ball, cross-back shot. Takor waited for it out on the boundary and took it comfortably in the end. And the Westindies lose another wicket with Holder falling, and Takor didn't he enjoy that, just seeing the replay. It's a good catch, and Westindies now 117 for 6. Holder.
Inside. Immerse yourself in colors that come alive.
Color by Sissons.
Let your imagination run wild. Surround yourself in a world of color.
Color by Sissons.
Endless inspiration. Bold expression. Bold expression.
Color by Sissons. Sissons. Express your style with Color by Sissons.
It is said the proof of the pudding is in the eating. Therefore, the authenticity of the beverage can only be acquired in the taste. A taste which is original to Antoine de Beauregard Industries and comes from a combination of spices and local rum, which can hold its own all over the world. Woodman, a strength which speaks for itself. A taste which stands out from the rest, bottled with care, which speaks to perfection. Try Woodman today and be stunned by a flavor as never before. Let your palate savor that which is produced locally. Do not be deterred by substandard products. Our taste speaks volumes and sets us apart from the competition. You will be satisfied with every sip of our product. Say rum, say Woodman, feel satisfaction. Now that's quality.
But I'd prefer to see Cornwall just ahead of him. But like I said, give and take, big difference.
So, with the new man at the crease, there's 3 slips in now for Siraj coming in. This is the 50th over of the innings, and it's defended by Joseph, and there's no run. I've actually seen a little bit of Joseph, not so much with the bat, but with the ball. I watched him in Multan last year. I watched him again when New Zealand played in Jamaica and Barbados. So he's quite an impressive cricketer.
Yes, he's got some good pace, enough pace to have batsmen on the side of caution. He's an aggressive type bowler, which I've always liked to see. But not just only with him, but fast bowlers in general. I like to see that aggression.
Here's Siraj bowling to Joseph, and he works that one away past gully. And it looks like it's racing out to the boundary there for 4. So well played, Alzari Joseph. Off the mark with a 4. And that brings us to the end of the 50th over. Athanase is on 41. Joseph is there on 4. And the score here at Windsor Oval is, it's just disappeared off the screen as I was about to call that. I think we're around about 122 for 4. 121 for 6, sorry, at Windsor Park. See also then, Sir Kirtley, they kept the trap there for Joseph. They still had the man back there. So is that something you think they've sussed out about him, or they've just figured out that the way to get these guys out, especially at the tail, is to tempt them into hooking?
Well, I don't know if Alzari Joseph would go for the hook shot. if you got that fielder placed in that particular position at the backward square, he would have seen the demise of Jason Holder just before him. So would he want to fall in the same trap? I would think not.
Here's Ashwin beginning a new over, bowling to Athenaeus. He's defending to cover where Kohli picks up and there's no run. There's Ashwin again, bowling to Athenaeus. Kohli can't cut that one off at cover, and it's time for Athenaeus to get a single. That takes him on to 42. Just making a change to the field now, just deciding whether to bring mid-on up or not. So there's 3 men back. Not all of them are on the boundary, but we've got a deep square, deep mid-wicket and a deep mid-on as Joseph faces his first ball from Ashwin and is defended to Rohit at cover and there's no run. This time Ashwin finds an edge from Joseph, but it goes all the way along the ground. Rahane picks it up and there's no run once more. Very quiet now here at Windsor Park. All the fans are in the stands pretty much, in the shade, although it's very sunny out in the middle. And as Ashwin comes in once more, and Joseph's defending from the... And there's no run once more. So a slip, and then a line of men, backward point, cover and mid-off on the offside, a short leg, a short mid-wicket, and then 3 men on the deep on the leg side. Here's Ashwin to Joseph, defending once more, and there's no run. So at the end of the 51st over, it's Westindies 1-2-2 for 6 here at Windsor Park. Another question for you, Sir Kirtley. What do you think about the India's policy of not playing Ravichandran Ashwin all the time, given what he's achieved in Test cricket?
That's a good question, because I've asked the same question, especially in that World Championship game not so long ago. It was a big hurrah about him not playing, but I don't know, because this is an experienced man. I've taken loads and loads of wickets, so I really don't know. Is it a situation where they're rotating, or is it something personal? I really don't know, but it was very strange.
What I find really unusual about it is that they've got such batting strength with Jadeja and Ashwin. I mean, these guys are serious batsmen as well.
Yeah.
So it's not like if they include them, they really weaken the batting too much. I mean,
That's
they've
true.
got 500s, all against the West Indies, I'm told.
So that's why it was a bit strange that he didn't play.
Yeah.
It's such a crucial game as well.
Yeah, and same against my country, New Zealand, 2 years prior. He didn't play in that game
Exactly.
either.
So I really...
Here's Siraj once again starting a new over, bowling to Athenaeus, and he ducks under a bouncer. What's happened here?
Looked like he was struck on the helmet, because I see the umpire calling for the medical staff, which is the norm if you get hit on the helmet, even if it's a glancing blow.
So we'll look at the replay here. Yeah, so he went to go underneath it. Oh, just grazed the crest on his helmet.
But that's the normal thing these days. Even if it's just a glancing blow or anything, they're going to call in the medical staff. But that's the way it is.
That leads on to perfect timing to ask me, for me to ask you, how regularly did you hit a batsman in the head area?
Hardly. You see, a lot of people look back at my career and figure because I was so aggressive, I've hardly hit batsmen, really.
Right.
Courtney Walsh and Andy Robertson, these guys, Marshall and these guys hit a lot more batsmen than I did.
Right.
Once or twice, maybe. I mean, I'll rough you up. I can tell you that, because I'm not going to make it easy for you. But in terms of hitting batsmen, I've hardly ever done it. Only a few times, yeah.
Interesting.
Yep.
I have a follow-up question coming. Here's Siraj bowling again to Athenaeus and he's defending. Were you tempted to hit Dean Jones after the wristband incident?
No, I just wanted to make life extremely difficult for him. You know, I mean, being a one-day game, I mean, bowling bounces and stuff, you know, they be called a wide and all that.
Yeah.
I don't want to waste my energy. If it was a test match, probably would have been different.
Right, okay.
But as a one-day game, I say, you know what, just make it hard for him, but forget about the short pitch bowling.
Here's Siraj bowling to Athenaeus. He's just defending that into the leg side and there's no run. Yeah, so I grew up in New Zealand, so I watched pretty much all your games that were those day-night matches in Australia. So it was just 2 hours ahead. I seem to remember he actually batted really well after that.
Yeah, he did. I didn't get him out, you know, but I just wanted to make life difficult for him because I was a bit upset. Well, not a bit. That's another statement. I was furious because I couldn't understand the request.
Right.
You know?
It's funny what you remember, isn't it? But I remember that game so vividly, thinking, man, what a thing to request. Here's Siraj over the wicket, and Athenaeus is pulling that one behind square, but there's two men out in the deep, and it's picked up there by Jaiswal, the debutant, and one further run to Athenaeus that takes him on to 43, I think. He played that into the ground, didn't he? It's really well controlled.
Yeah, I was just going to say the difference with that shot and the one that Jason Holder played, that Athenaeus got over it, hit it down, Jason Holder went up. So that's the difference.
So adjustments to the field once more, of course. Alzari Joseph now on strike. And so there's 3 slips in place, or a first, a second, and probably a 4th slip for Joseph, the man from Antigua. Here is Siraj. And Joseph defends, looks very comfortable, and that's all he really needs to do right now, isn't it? He just needs to stay there for as long as he can, support Athenaeus as well as he can, and not worry too much about how many runs he scores.
And he can bat a bit, Joseph. So if he stays there long enough, he will score runs.
This next one from Takura is a short ball. There was a man deep, but Joseph ducked under that very comfortably. And just on that moment, just wanted to thank Sir Curtly Ambrose for your time. Hope we can have you again soon. So that's the end of the 52nd over. And the score here is 1, 2, 3 for 6 at Windsor Park. And it's time to welcome back our comments man for today, our main comments man, Lockhart Sebastian. Sorry to delay your return to the commentary box there, Lockhart, but someone else was queuing up before you.
Well, you had a great man with you, Sir Curtly himself. I mean, one of the outstanding bowlers of the last, 40 years, you would think? Curtly Ambrose, great bowlers.
His test record, he averages 22. Like, it's unbelievable. As Athenaeus faces his first ball from Ashwin, beginning a new over, plays it out to a deep point, and he goes through for a single, takes him on to 44. Yeah, what has he got? 405 wickets at 22?
Yeah.
I mean, that's unbelievable.
And Malcolm Marshall at 20,
Yeah.
375. Joel Garner, about 20 as well.
Richard Hadley.
Yeah,
Don't
Richard
forget
Hadley.
him. Here's Ashwin, bowling to Joseph.
He was an outstanding. By the way, how is he health-wise? I know he had some issues himself, Richard Hadley.
I think he's doing all right, actually. Yeah. I think he had his 70th recently.
Oh, okay, that's great.
Yeah.
Outstanding bowler.
Here's Ashwin over the wicket to the right-handed Joseph. He's defensively forward and there's no run. Yeah, I mean, I grew up in the Crowe-Hadley era, right? And so I saw Hadley at his prime.
And Martin Crowe, this elegant batsman, Martin Crowe.
Here's Ashwin bowling to Joseph, and he tees off, and it just lobs up, and the simplest of catches to, I don't even know what to say to Bernard Cut. I've just been saying to Sir Curtly Ambrose, Joseph just needs to stay there, support Athenaeus. He didn't look in any trouble whatsoever, and then he had an ugly swipe across the line, a lob to backward point, and he's gone.
Well, you aptly described it. An ugly swipe. That's the only description you can give for a stroke like that. Here it is, your team is what? 124 for 6. You have been promoted because normally Cornwall would have batted before him. Then another batsman is on 44 going well, and you play this ridiculous stroke, if you ask me. I mean, really, there's no excuse for a stroke like that.
Absolutely, and I had questioned why the big man was with Cornwall. I mean, not Ambrose. But why did Cornwall not come in ahead of Joseph? They've got fairly similar records in terms of 50s at Test level, but Cornwall has a pretty much higher batting average.
Well,
17 compared to 12.
Well, he normally bats before him. I was a bit surprised that Joseph was promoted before Cornwall. Well, he didn't help himself with the type of stroke he played.
I have to say, of all the dismissals today, that was the worst one.
Yes, it's horrible.
Worse than Blackwood's.
Well, and there have been a lot of poor shots today. Some of the wickets have been given away. Andrew, he was way across the line. The ball was pitched on middle stump, and he was looking to hit it past deep mid wicket.
And it's not just that. It's like, what was his thought process? I'm sure, between overs, Athenaeus would have said something along the lines of, don't worry man, doing well done for ducking the bouncer in the last over, just play solid, you're not looking at any trouble.
Well, you wonder what goes through a batsman's head when he plays a stroke like that. Your team in serious trouble having won the toss. Well, now I see the reason why, Andrew, why tickets for Sunday have not yet been printed. Because we'll be very lucky to get play past Sunday with the type of performance we're seeing from the Westindies team.
Well, on that note, as Cornwall faced his first ball from Ashwin, just comfortably pushes that into the mid-wicket area, and there's no run. Well, I guess we can make a tour plan for Sunday.
Well, of course we can't. Surely you
need it on Monday. So.
Yeah, you need an island-wide tour so you could look around Dominica.
This time Ashwin slips one past Cornwall's bat through to Kishan, and there's no run. So successful over for Ashwin. It's 124 for 7 here at Windsor Park.
And Andrew, that's the problem with West Indies cricket. Every time West Indies play, you think there's some hope, you think you're going to see some performances, but it gets worse every day. I mean, we just had this disaster in the World Cup qualifiers. First test match in the new cycle of the World Test Championship, and you see that type of performance.
But there's also got to be an element here of, and forgive me, I forgot who's coaching the team now since Phil Simmons left.
Andre Coley.
Right, okay. And so they've obviously come to the ground with a plan. If we win the toss, we're going to bat first.
Exactly.
And if that plan would have been there for at least a day or two, they've come out today like they're chasing, 150 or something. Mm-hmm. They didn't come out like they're just trying to establish a solid first innings. Mm-hmm. As I've said a few times on commentary now, apart from Athenaeus, all of them, or maybe Chanderpaul as well, all of them have got out playing shots. Here's Ukanard now playing, coming back in for his second spell from the river end. It's defended away by Athenaeus, and there's no run. Ukanard. So far in his first spell he had, which was also from the river end, he had 5 overs, 2 maidens, none for 7, so he hasn't really been used a lot so far today. And I thought he bowled fairly well early on. But yeah, it's just that recklessness of batting first.
Very reckless, is the correct word.
He's in again once more. He's the left armour, bowling over the wicket, and is defended by Athanaze, and there's no run.
This is a test match, supposed to be a 5-day game. People have to bat long. You won the toss. You should be looking to bat till lunchtime tomorrow.
At least, yeah. So Una Cat coming back to the top of his mark. It's just in front of the advertising. Comes in, it's fairly close to the stumps, and Athanaze is driving. I think Una Cat got a hand on that just to take some of the pace off it. Oh, wow. Did you see what just happened?
Of course I saw it. He probably almost got run out.
So
Cornwall
that was fielded by Ashwin at mid-on, or mid-off. He threw it to the wicket-keeper's end, and Cornwall was just virtually walking. And it just missed the stumps. I wonder what's going to happen here. Look at that. Oh, I want to see a side on.
Yes, he's ambling actually.
Cornwall looked like he was going for a Sunday jog with his kids. Look at this. Oh, he was just there. Just there.
My goodness.
That would have really made it an absolute shocker today. There's Una Cat bowling to Cornwall, and he looks to not so much pull that, but it was a cross-batted shot and actually played it down into the ground to square leg. Wow, he's an imposing figure out there though, isn't he? Look at, it sort of reminds me of WWF wrestling, where you had all these normal guys and then you had Andre the Giant, who made Hulk Hogan look small.
A very imposing figure, that's all I will say for now. Imposing. Rakim Cornwall, the big man.
Or to use an example closer to home, he's the Jonah Lomu. He's just that much bigger than everyone else.
It's not funny at all.
So it's Raheem Cornwell facing the left armour, and then he's worked that one away through mid-wicket, but are they going to go for two? Yes. He's going to get back comfortably, I think. Yes, he has. So Cornwall off the mark with two, and Unard Cat now coming towards the end of his 6th over, none for 10.
Well, Cornwall was here up to about a month ago. He was playing in the Dream 11 T10 competition, so he has some fans in the stand. He was here recently.
Right.
About a month ago.
Here he is again, facing the last ball of the over. It's a solid defence. Crowd cheers that, and so at the end of the 54th over, it's 127 for 7 here at Windsor Park.
Yes, well, Cornwall seems to be a crowd favourite, Andrew. I mean, the crowd seem to enjoy watching him. I don't know what it is. They've seen that and that they enjoy so much when they see Rakim Cornwall.
I'm just going to hand over. You going to come and join us, Andy? Do you want me to stay on?
It is said, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. Therefore, the authenticity of the beverage can only be acquired in the taste. A taste which is original to Antoine de Beauregard Industries and comes from a combination of spices and local rum, which can hold its own all over the world. Woodman, a strength which speaks for itself. A taste which stands out from the rest, bottled with care, which speaks to perfection. Try Woodman today and be stunned by a flavor as never before. Let your palate savor that which is produced locally. Do not be deterred by substandard products. Our taste speaks volumes and sets us apart from the competition. You will be satisfied with every sip of our product. Say rum, say Woodman, feel satisfaction. Now that's quality.
And coming around, he's going to cut it off at deep extra cover, and they get back for 2. So that takes Athenaeus on to 47. Here's Ashwin bowling to Athenaeus, and this time he's defending. Here's Ashwin once again, and this time there's no timing from Athenaeus, and plays it into the leg side, and Ashwin picks up on his follow through. Looking to force that one through the covers, but it was actually a full toss. He didn't time it at all. Here's Ashwin, and Athenaeus is defending off the back foot to Ashwin, and there's no run. Ashwin, and this time Athenaeus is pulling, but he's skied it in the air and taken it mid-on by Shuttle Tucker. So such a disappointing way for his innings to end. Athenaeus, he's batted so well on debut, so very well indeed, and he just didn't time that at all. Looking to force it when he probably didn't need to. As we take another look on the replay, it was a bit flatter, I think, and a bit faster. It skidded onto him, just skied it up in the air to mid-on, and the simplest of catches for Thakur off the bowling of Ashwin. So another success for Ashwin. That's his 4th wicket. Athenaeus has gone for 47. He batted for 142 minutes, faced 99 balls, hit 4 4s and 1 6. Westindies 129 for 8 here at Windsor Park.
Yeah, at the end of a very fine inning from young Ali Kafanaz. He played extremely well. That ball obviously looked like he wanted to hit it for 6. He was looking to go aerial one. Probably he should have been trying to hit it for 4. But having said that, I think he played extremely well. A good debut for the young man. And that does the start of many more runs to come from this young man. I think, Andrew, he has to feel proud. He batted well. I mean, it's a good debut for him. Obviously, he would have been looking to get to 50. He didn't get it, but I think it was a very fine inning.
Yeah, it's hard to be too critical of a guy on debut, isn't it? That a little bit of a rush of blood to the head, but maybe the ball was there to be hit, and he just didn't execute the shot very well. You wouldn't say it was a terrible shot. It just didn't quite work out for him, and that happens, of course, in cricket. Just this Andy Roberts story. So the New Zealand sort of like President's 11 or something came here in the late 1970s, and my friend John Morrison was on the side. They played in Dominica, and I'm not sure if it happened in Dominica, but it definitely happened on that tour. And it was a mix of like cricketers and non-cricketers, probably a few businessmen, and there was a guy from the west coast of New Zealand called, his nickname was Crash Aldridge, and he went into bat at number 11, facing Andy Roberts. And I think it was the last ball of the over, and it just whistled past his head, and John was batting with him at the time, and walked down the pitch and said, "Is that all right?" He says, "We haven't got anything like that on the West Coast."
You know, Andy Roberts, great bowler. I think most people, because he only probably took 202 wickets, but to me, he was the outstanding bowler of the West Indies. Great fast bowler, Andy Roberts. We called him Fruity. That's how we called him when I played with him, Fruity.
Right.
That's how we called him.
Here's Unakad. This time Cornwall is playing that one behind point. He's timed it very nicely. But he's just ambling through, but I think it's got all the way to the boundary. It has. So 4 to Cornwall. Takes him on to 6 now. Westindies 133 for 2.
And Andrew, 133 for 8, having won the toss. This surely is not a 123 for 8 pitch. Surely not. Surely not. We've seen some very poor shots today. Very poor.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. It absolutely hasn't. But you know, it just reflects the way that, I mean, India's bowled tightly, of course. They haven't bowled badly by any means. Here's Cornwall facing a short ball from Unadkat, and he ducks under it. Thought about pulling it, and there's no run. But this is what I was saying with Sir Curtly Ambrose before, Cebu, is the mentality. You know, they were batting like they were in a run chase.
You're right, and you wonder what, as you said, they probably in the team meeting last night, they decided what they were going to do. They won the toss, they decided they wanted to bat first. So obviously you would think you played session by session.
Exactly. Unadkat now to Cornwall, and he drives that, just over the head of Rohit Sharma at mid-on, who's now going to have to chase. But look how fast Cornwall's running between the wickets. He's about to get lapped by...
But Andrew, that would have been normally 3 runs for 2 good runners. Easy 3 runs. And Cornwall, as you said, struggling to get 2 when that should have been 3 runs. Again, a poor stroke, he should have been out caught. He should have been out.
His head, but it's... Sir Curtly said that Cornwall's been struggling with a knee problem. Is that why he's just... I mean, I'm not suggesting he should be, you know, Usain Bolt pace, but he could be able to move a little bit quicker than that. This time Cornwall was just dabbing at one, and he hits it very fine indeed on the bounce to a wide first slip, and there's no run.
To put it simply, he's not a fast runner, Andrew. He's not a fast runner. That's putting it simply.
Yeah, that's...
He's not the quickest runner. As you say, he's not close to Usain Bolt.
Another question for you. Outside of cricket, who's the most famous Dominican sportsman?
After this ball.
Here's Unadkat once more.
Famous.
It's defended by Cornwall.
Well, a good question. We haven't had any international, in locally international. Well, I remember Jerome Roman years ago won a medal at the World Championships. It was a triple jump. We had this lady, Fia Laffer, who won a bronze medal at some, or golden medal, or whatever it was, at some meet in Bahamas. But that's a good question. I mean, apart from cricket.
I've got one for you.
Well, you'll tell me.
I did my research on this last night. So here's Unadkat once again to Cornwall. He's defending and there's no run. Frank Bruno.
Oh, the boxer, you mean?
He's born in England, but I think
he has Dominican parentage.
Dominican parents.
Parentage, yeah. Frank Bruno, boxer.
Yeah. And this one you probably won't get, but are you familiar with the TV series Death in Paradise?
Not really.
So this is a BBC show. Anyway, one of the main actors who plays Dwayne, the policeman Dwayne, he was also of Dominican heritage.
Okay. I guess you did your homework before you came here.
Here's Unadkat bowling to Cornwall, and he's defending once more, and there's no run. So at the end of the 56th over, it's 136 for 8 here at Windsor Park.
And Andrew, with that sort of performance, we don't have a full house today, or close to a full house. I don't expect us tomorrow should have a bigger crowd than what we've seen today. Honestly.
Yeah, but the thing about that too, though, is that it's a weekday. You know, I mean, Westindies are probably going to be bowling most of tomorrow, probably the whole day, I'm guessing now. You know, do the fans turn up to watch the, you know, Kemar Roach and these players? Like,
well, you could come up with what to watch Virat Kohli.
It's true.
Virat Kohli.
Yeah, it's true. Or Rohit Sharma, or the
Or
debutant.
Shubman Gill.
Yeah, Shubman Gill. Wow, hasn't he been incredible in shorter form cricket recently? He's just smashing runs for fun.
This guy's a class act, eh? Shubman Gill.
As Ashwin starts a new over, bowling to the new man Kemo Roach. Ashwin looking for his 5-wicket haul, and Roach looks like he's got an inside edge there, or perhaps it's spun past his bat. Anyway, it's gone down behind the wicket keeper, and it's a bye in fact. So Ishwan Kishan hasn't been very tidy behind the stumps, I have to say. I haven't really been very impressed with his wicket-keeping skills today.
He's struggling.
Really struggling. Although he took the two that counted, the 2 nicks, he's taken them both. Here's Ashwin to Cornwall, 3 men back, long on, deep mid-wicket, deep backward square. Cornwall, shoulders, arms. And there's no run.
Big Jimbo, they call him.
Just thinking, if you swap shirts with Cornwall, you'd end up with basically a dress. Compare that to Shubman Gill, it would be like a singlet. Here's Ashwin, bowling to Cornwall, and he's defending to short leg, and there's no run. I don't think players swap shirts, or maybe they do.
But in football, it happens very regularly.
Yeah, rugby the same, yeah. Here's Ashwin, over the wicket to Cornwall, and he's driving up to mid-off. And there's no run once again. That's the end of the over from Ashwin, his 21st. He's got 4 for 49, and it's 137 for 8 here at Windsor Park.
Well, probably that will be final over before tea, or less a wicket falls. If a wicket falls, then we have to play an extra half an hour until it falls. But let us hope half an hour, one more over. These guys should play it out, go out in the dressing room, have a discussion, see if they can get to 200. Although I think that's highly unlikely.
Yeah, you would think so, wouldn't you? I saw earlier the groundsman cutting the grass over there in Botanical Gardens, and now you can see it on the camera. You can see all his work, see?
Well,
he cut all of that there. I was watching him before.
This was the main ground before the move to here.
Really?
In the gardens, that's where most of the Windward Islands tournament. In fact, first-class cricket was played up there years ago.
Wow, that slope's bigger than Lord's. Here's Jadeja bowling a new over to Roach, and he defends, and there's no run.
Yeah, in the gardens, that was the ground before they moved to the Windsor Park.
Okay. Here's Ashwin from the Jadeja from the river end, left arm round the wicket, and it's defended by Roach, and there's no run.
And Andrew, you had huge crowds in the gardens in the 70s and in the late 60s. Yeah, you have crowds of almost 10,000 people watching Windward Islands cricket.
Cornwall wandering down the pitch to give Kemo Roach a little bit of advice. I wonder what he said. Here's Jadeja. Oh, and it's an edge off the outside edge of Kemo Roach's bat towards second slip, but a bounce in front of the man there, and there's no run. And that's Virat Kohli at second slip. Just see a replay here. Yes, an edge, but just bouncing in front of Virat Kohli. Here's Jadeja again. This time it's defended by Roach and picked up by Ishan Kishan from behind the stumps. No run again. There's an air of inevitability about this, Cebu. Someone is going to launch very soon. I don't mean take off. I mean try and hit a 6 or something. Because they sort of got to past the point now where there's any point defending, right?
Yeah, well, it's tea time now. It's tea time. Obviously, Roach playing for tea. It's now tea time. Westindies at tea, 137 for 8 in a lot of trouble, having won the toss And it has been to be putting it mildly, Andrew, a very poor performance from the Westindies cricket team today. Very poor batting performance.
Absolutely, yeah. So just to recap, at the start of the session, the Westindies were 68 for 4, with Athenaeus on 13, with Blackwood having got out of the last ball before lunch. So in that session they moved from 68 to 133 and lost a further 3 wickets. Athenaeus, of course, has been the top scorer so far. He made 47, and before him Holder was the first man to go after tea. He was caught Thacker, bowled Siraj for 18. Then Joshua De Silva caught Kishan, bowled Jadeja for 2. And then we had, who was out next? I'm just trying to remember. Yeah, after that it was Joseph, of course. He was caught by Unakad, bowled Ashwin for 4. That was 127 for 4. And then Athenaeus, the last man to go out. Caught Taka, bowled Ashwin for 47, agonisingly short of his century. So all in all, you'd have to say India's session. And the star bowler for them so far has been Ravichandran Ashwin, who has 4 wickets so far in this match, and he'll be looking for his 5th very soon, I should think. So just to recap some of those bowling figures for you before we wind up here during the tea break. Just looking at our scorecard here. So Mohammad Siraj, 12 overs, 2 maidens, 1 for 25. Jadav Undakat, 7 overs, 2 maidens, none for 17. Ravichandran Ashwin, 21 overs, 6 maidens, 9. Shadul Thakur, 7 overs, 3 maidens, 1 for 15. And Ravindra Jadeja, 111 for 11 overs, 5 maidens, 2 for 24. And as mentioned, Westindies 133 for 7 at the tea break, and 133 for 8, I should say, at the tea break. And we will be back here at Windsor Park just prior to start of play after this tea break. Please join us then.
In our part of the world, we need to be prepared for natural disasters like storms and hurricanes, even outside of the season. I'm sure you'll agree that keeping our loved ones, homes, and businesses safe is important. So, I came up with a few quick tips to help you stay safe. Familiarize yourself with your electrical panel, as it may be necessary to switch off the power during a storm or flood. Make sure you install a transfer or isolation switch to prevent your generator feeding electricity to Grenlec's line. If trees are too close to power lines, call Grenlec at 237 for advice. By following these easy steps, you will be well on your way to being hurricane ready. Don't be caught off guard by natural disasters. Prepare now. For more information, visit grenlec.com.
The Gynecological Cancer and Prevention Clinic advises the general public that its office located in Main Street, Satires, will be opened on Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. The oncologist, Dr. Santos, now attends every Thursday by appointments only. The ophthalmologist, or eye doctor, attends every 15th of the month. Call us to book an appointment today on 423-3352 or 444-4272.
From the rhythmic sounds of the Veku clocks, the artistic colors of the short knee, the traditions of Sailor Moss and Wild Indian, the sweet sounds of the steel pan, the unique chant of the jab jab, the authentic sound of our soca music, the masterful and craftiness of the calypso. It's D-Moss the way it was on RealFM 91.9, 91.5.
Bambadam boy, Bambadam eh, Bambadam oh Lord. Hot me was done a toothache, cannot describe the pain. No, it cannot be heartbreak. I do not apart again. Cannot say you was perfect, but at least you was mine. When I thought you was worth it, turn out to be a lie. Yeah, why? You left the grass that green and thought it more green on the other side. And when you reach, you get deceived and you see that the grass was dry. He hurt you once, he hurt you twice, and he only making you cry. And I cannot lie, I feeling some type of joy. I'm glad you see in trouble. Yeah, I'm glad you see in trouble. Yeah, after all the things you put me through, I'm hoping that he double. Lord, I hear you catching your ass. I hear you catching your ass. While I play my mask, you're catching your ass. Don't mean to laugh. First no time I look at the past, then look when you pass. And right now you look like a pass, and I have you in upper class. See, I can't want no good for you when you don't want that for yourself. Look at all of the things we go through. Never left you for no one else, and yet you leave the grass that green